So God put that influence on that preacher, one preacher. Name will tell, because most of you are from that place. So if I start mentioning names, you will know what. And then when you know the name, you are no longer listening to the message. You are analyzing the person. So this preacher grew. He expanded. The city began to gather to him. He died. When he died, 12 years later, Jesus took the same thing, put on another man. This man that died was a man that was the original man trained for that role. But because of a little carelessness, he was exposed at some point and he was cut down. The second man that they gave after 12 years was not prepared for the role, didn't know there was any role like that. But because Jesus wanted to hold sway in the land, this guy is not prepared. They gave him. When they gave him, he started becoming influential. People believed him. People began to gather around him. And because he was not prepared for the role, he thought he was the one that was the star. He used to boast. Big guy. When I went there, I saw the lady that was the secretary. I knew he had died because we went to the same campus with that lady, the same university with that lady. So in this boasting that he was boasting, he couldn't see this lady. Oh, I pity. That was the last time I visited the place. I knew that he was dead. I knew he was dead. The next time I saw him, he was so sick that I don't want to describe he died. He died a shameful death. Then the mantle was given to somebody else that was not ready. Young people began to gather to him. Young people began to gather. Something began to take place. The moment you are given that mantle, there's a demon. A demon, how will I describe this demon? It is standing erect, but it has a shell of a tortoise. That demon will come. The first thing the demon will do is that if there are people that are praying for you, somebody that's committed to praying for you, it will disconnect you from that person. And I don't want to mention names. I would have shown you the pattern from the first one, because that's what Jesus showed me in this encounter. From the first one to the second one, the same pattern. When that prayer support is withdrawn, you begin to lose your life of holiness. And just like that lady on our campus struck this man, you become interested to people that will destroy, that are destructive, that Satan had trained in the art of destruction. And then Jesus told me, we will give you this thing, but you have 8 years to prepare. Within these 8 years, meanwhile, and that's a privilege. I'm not a good person. I don't even know why Jesus decided to choose me, because I'm not as strong as any one of these people. So in terms of strength, I don't have it. He said, we will give you this thing, but we'll give you in 8 years' time. Do you know that the noisiest season of that city was that 8 years? So many noisemakers rose, and I knew from the revelation of Jesus that none of them had anything. May you not be among people that make noise. Go and look for Jesus. I beheld this your city, and I saw a wilderness, a vast wilderness. and only few altars that had the color green. The other altars were brown, some were black. So, you know, green means it's alive. Brown means it used to be here. Black means it's gone. And I saw congregations gathering around brown altars. I saw some others gathering, big congregation around three black altars. God was saying something used to be here. Sustained by administration. Those 8 years were loud years. People were I said, if you do well, it was not as if the promise was unconditional. He said, if you do well, because I know the original person that was meant for the mantle. That one was trained for it. None of us was trained for it. So he said, if you do well, I will test you with this. In 2019, in August, on the 19th day of August 2019, that was where the shofar was blown in heaven, announcing my own rising. The shofar was blown on the 19th of August 2019, but the season, we began to experience the season in March 2020. And anytime there was something maybe great that happened and I wanted to celebrate, he would say, if you behave well. Do you know that statement? He was just trying to make me understand that, you see, this thing is conditional. You were not the one that was originally designed for this. So if you behave well, if you behave well, if you behave well. The 8 years that I spoke about, I'm trying to bring perspective about. In these 8 years, before these 8 years, 2 years before these 8 years, okay, I was somewhere in the Middle East and the Lord appeared to me. That was when he said, the youth. Say, use your power of insight to deliver them from destruction, and I will open the gates of nations to you. So when I came back from that trip, I started going from campus to campus. People were saying I was a campus apostle. They were using that to mock me, but it was Jesus that commissioned me to do that. I was in Lagos. When you are going to preach in Sokoto, you need 2 flights from Lagos to Abuja, from Abuja to Sokoto. The guys you are going to preach to on campus don't have money to even pay for my ticket. But I was obedient to Jesus. So for 12 years, I was hopping from campus to campus because Jesus said I should do that. When I was checking how I moved, I went around Nigeria 6 times in 12 years. It was after those days that the shofar was sounded. And I was given the opportunity to step into the next phase. Then that thing began to work. I had to go and study all the people that carried it before me. Why was there a challenge? God will not tell you everything. If you are willing to stay afloat, you will take responsibility for your navigation. When I discovered what was wrong, I adjusted my life. The adjustment took me how many years? The adjustment in terms of prayer, the adjustment in terms of fasting, the adjustment in terms of sacrificial giving. Do you know what? I found out that sacrificial giving is a big thing in the kingdom of God. Make yourself a sacrificial giver. After 10 years, compare notes with casual resistance. Sacrificial. 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 The ability to lay it down. The power. Takes a lot of strength to do that. Sacrificial. Sacrificial. And when people see that you are such a person, they will cash in on it. Those people that are laboring to receive from you have signed that they will never be great. You know, they think they are wise. He has an open heart. So I just plug in, then you cash out. You plug, you cash out, you cash out. In 10 years' time, give them if you have. Give them. Those ones will never give. You see, it's not the man that has that gives, it's the giver that gives.
Yes, sir.
It's the giver that gives. If a man has not yet given for 10 years, he doesn't know the power of giving. If you have not prayed for 10 years consistently, you don't know the power of prayer. If you have not prayed, fasted for 10 years consistently, you don't know the power of fasting. You are just moving around the sidelines. You are a statistic that will be, it's okay, you are number 4, you're 5. You're a statistic. The revelation of Jesus that you have is going to shape your life. It will affect your outlook to life. Took me years to adjust in the area of the mistakes I saw. That was why I stayed in that wilderness. I saw big cities like this. Saw big cities like Lagos. I remained in that wilderness. Once upon a time, the senior ministers of my city significant ones came to me and said, "You are wasting here. Move out of this place. You will end up like us." My heart shook. I went back to Jesus. That was not what Jesus was saying. So even people with their good intentions have the ability to sway you from the path. May our civilization go beyond good intentions. The 8 years were silent for me, but noisy in my city. But God was not doing anything in my city for that time. When the shofar was blown on the 19th of August, 2019, approval was given for me to be granted the opportunity. And when the thing came, it generated influence, started coming. I remember one day we're in my sitting room just praying. I've never had that experience before, and I've not had it till today. We're just praying in my sitting room, just praying, praying. And suddenly my eyes opened. I saw an angel of God. He walked straight to me. He touched me on the chest, and my spirit went with him. I was still physically standing, but I was seeing where we were going. Took me to a place in my city and asked me, "Do you know where we are?" I said, "No." "Where is this?" He mentioned my city. I said, "No, we're not in my city," because I know my city very well. He didn't answer me anymore. Then he took one stick. The place was unswept, unkept, and dry leaves filled everywhere. Took one stick, opened one area. You know, I've worked in the oil industry for 16 years. If because of that, if I see crude oil, even in my dream, I know it. So he took the stick, opened somewhere there, then I saw it was crude oil. He told me, this crude oil is the resources that we put in place for this man. The man he was pointing at was the last man that they gave that thing. But the man was not obedient enough to spend from it. He said, "I brought you here because you begin to spend from it now." That was how we built that building. When God decides to focus on you, what He gives, what His presence will do to you is that it will bring influence around your life. That influence will produce so many things, but the real thing is influence. That was why the story changed. That's why everything changed. People have come to me and asked me for formulas What buttons did you press? What are the things? I couldn't tell them. It's not in formulas. There's something beyond formulas. I don't know how to explain what I'm saying. I have release in my spirit. That's why I'm saying this. It's not by formula. Continue what you are doing faithfully. It's not as if our methods were contemporary or our style was recommended. We maintained our crude shape. It was not about your shape. It's about the thing that was committed. He said it came by the revelation, the disclosures of Jesus. The disclosures of Jesus. The disclosures of Jesus. Now, I read one scripture to us, and I close. Oh, my Jesus. The disclosures of Jesus. That's what we need to seek this season. Because the season has shifted again. And now, when it shifts like this, it means they have carved out some thrones in the heavenlies. Yes, some fresh thrones. And they are scouting for men to usher in, so that the tempo, the frequency, the shape of things in the earth can begin to change. Your preaching cannot do much, but if you are seated on that throne, you can even come on social media and laugh, and people will be blessed by your laughter. It's not of him that willeth, it's not of him that runneth, it is of God that shows mercy. So there are three ways to encounter Jesus. Psalm 16 verse 8.